The human body is not built for the cold. Below a certain temperature, our systems simply begin to shut down, one by one. But some people have been pushed to the absolute limit and walked away. These are the 10 most brutal cold survival stories ever. Number 10. In 1992, Colby Coombs and 2 friends were climbing Mount Foraker in Alaska when disaster struck without any warning at all. An avalanche swept them 1,000 feet down the mountain. Colby woke up with a broken ankle, a fractured spine, and 2 dead friends. His other climbing partner was still alive, but badly injured. Despite his own pain, Colby had to lead them on a grueling 5-day crawl. They navigated treacherous crevasses and fought off despair. Finally, a pilot spotted their tracks in the snow, leading a rescue team right to them. Number 9. A Swedish family's car got stuck in a snowdrift on a remote forest road. They thought help would arrive any day. But the snow kept falling, burying their car completely. The 4 family members were trapped inside with almost no food to eat. Days turned into weeks. To survive, they rationed sweets and ate handfuls of snow for water, their bodies growing weaker and weaker. After 2 months, a passing snowmobiler noticed a strange mound. He dug down and was shocked to find the family, barely alive inside. Number 8. In 1881, an American Army expedition of 25 men set out to establish a scientific station in the high Arctic. For 2 years, things went well, but their scheduled resupply ships failed to arrive, leaving them stranded with dwindling food and no way home. They retreated south in small boats, a desperate journey across a frozen sea. They ran out of food and began to starve in darkness. When a rescue party finally found them, only 6 of the original 25 men were still alive, surrounded by the bodies of their comrades. Number 7. During the 1996 Everest disaster, a blizzard trapped dozens of climbers high on the mountain in the infamous death zone. Pathologist Beck Weathers was caught in the storm. He fell into a hypothermic coma and was left for dead by other climbers twice. Everyone thought he was gone, but miraculously, after nearly a full day in the sub-zero cold, Beck woke up from the coma. He was snowblind and severely frostbitten, yet somehow he stumbled his way back to camp, a ghost walking out of the storm. Number 6. In 1823, frontiersman Hugh Glass was scouting for a fur trapping party when he was mauled by a grizzly bear. His companions, believing he would die, took his rifle and abandoned him in the wilderness with a broken leg and festering wounds. But Glass refused to die. He set his own leg and began to crawl, surviving on wild berries and roots as winter set in. For 6 weeks, he crawled over 200 miles. He eventually floated down a river on a crude raft to the safety of a fort. Number 5. A group of American pioneers heading to California took a supposed shortcut, only to become trapped by heavy snow in the mountains. The 87 members of the Donner Party built crude shelters, but their food supplies quickly ran out. Starvation began to set in. The situation grew desperate. They ate twigs, mice, and eventually the leather from their shoes. The first deaths were a grim turning point. Trapped for the entire winter, the survivors resorted to the ultimate taboo to stay alive. They were forced to consume their own dead. By the time rescue parties arrived in the spring, only 48 had survived the brutal ordeal in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Number 4. Australian geologist Douglas Mawson was exploring Antarctica with 2 companions when one fell into a crevasse with their supplies. His second companion soon died. Mawson was now alone, 100 miles from base camp, with almost no food in the empty wasteland. He was starving. The soles of his feet detached, and his skin began to peel off. He was literally falling apart as he walked. He even fell into a crevasse himself, only saved by the rope tied to his sled. He somehow pulled himself out and kept going. After a 30-day solo trek through hell, he staggered back to his hut, just hours after the expedition ship had left for home. Number 3. A young Inupiat woman named Ada Blackjack joined a doomed Arctic expedition as a seamstress. She was terrified of the wilderness. The 4 men she was with were arrogant and unprepared. When supplies ran out, 3 of them abandoned her to seek help across the ice. The man left behind was sick and soon died, leaving Ada completely alone on Wrangel Island, with only the expedition's cat for company. This terrified woman taught herself to shoot, trap foxes, and build a better shelter. She learned to survive in a place that killed experts. After 2 years of total isolation, a rescue schooner found her. The lone survivor of the expedition, she became an unwilling Arctic hero. Number 2. In 1980, 19-year-old Jean Hilliard's car skidded off an icy Minnesota road. The temperature was 22 degrees below zero. She tried to walk 2 miles to a friend's house, but just 15 feet from the front door, she collapsed from exhaustion and hypothermia. She lay there for 6 hours in the brutal cold. When her friend found her in the morning, her body was frozen completely solid. Doctors thought she was dead. Her skin was too hard for a needle, and her temperature was too low to register on a thermometer. But as they slowly warmed her with heating pads, she began to thaw. Incredibly, she made a full recovery with no permanent damage. And number 1. In 1972, a flight carrying a Uruguayan rugby team crashed high in the Andes Mountains. This is the ultimate survival story. Number 2. Of the 45 people on board, only 27 survived the initial crash. They were stranded at 12,000 feet with no winter gear. They heard on a small radio that the search for them had been called off. They were left for dead, alone in the brutal cold. Facing certain starvation, the survivors made an agonizing decision. To live, they would have to eat the bodies of their deceased friends. After 2 months, 2 of the strongest survivors trekked for 10 days across the Andes Mountains, determined to find help or die trying. They found a Chilean shepherd, leading to the rescue of the 16 remaining survivors after 72 days of hell on the mountain. The will to live can push people to do the impossible. Some of the most incredible stories of survival happen deep underground.